This episode of the Towing Life podcast is brought to you by BA Products. From innovative products such as the Container Link, Tanker Tube, Frame Hook, patented 8-point tie-down, and more, BA Products is always developing products to better assist towers today and for tomorrow. Reach out to one of our BA distributors today to see how we can help elevate your towing and recovery procedures. I'm not falling asleep tonight, but I am definitely exhausted. I played golf today again. Actually, I played whack. Some days you play golf. Today I played whack.
Can we just go and play hole 18 right now and be done with this?
He rented a cart for the last 9 because he didn't want to walk it anymore, and I had a pull cart, so I made him drive the golf cart and pull my cart behind him while I just walked. I needed exercise. I was in the office today. I didn't do much on the road. Did we get any pre-stuff already, G? Did you guys figure some stuff out?
We're just talking about the state of the world.
Yeah, probably don't put any of that on.
No.
I make the best intros.
Yeah, nothing towing related.
You know what I think is wrong with the world?
Hey everyone, I'm Brad from Calgary.
This is Sean from Cambridge, Ontario.
I'm Terry from Cornwall, Ontario.
Hey, this is Larry from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, and you're listening to the Towing Life podcast.
Welcome to the Towing Life podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. I'm your host, TowManG, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. PlainGuy, and our wonderful producer, Sarah.
Thanks for the second wonderful.
You're welcome.
We put the pressure on for G to step up his game when it came to the introduction of wonderful producer Sarah, and he just added another adjective. We learned this last week.
Yes.
The same one at the beginning, and that was his sales technique. So thank you, G, for that. And how are you, G?
Just like a snatch blog.
We are simple folks in the towing industry, and we use things that we can relate to. In this case, double up like a snatch block works to make something sound even better. That is great to hear. How are you, Sarah? How are you, G?
I'm not doing too bad. It was my first day off in a little bit here, and I actually got my tow truck detailed today since the truck wasn't being used. So I've got something to look forward to come Friday when I'm back to work. No, I've been training a new guy lately, and it's been long days. So
honestly, training new guys, you included, it is some of the longest days. When you don't get to be the one driving, doing the work, all this kind of stuff, because you need to give them that seat time, you need to give them that muscle memory and that repetition, it makes the days drag.
And it's, I know for us, you do this podcast and your throat's a little sore afterwards, but doing monkey see, monkey do all day and explaining what you're doing as you're doing it for like the first day, the end of that day, you're like, I can't speak anymore.
It's true. In a day-to-day, I say about 8 words to customers, and that's about it. So to have to talk to you all day, it's the worst when you're doing the drives. And they're like, yeah, so I like to do this and this and this. And, so there's times where as much as I love them, I don't care. Yeah. And it's a cool. Yeah, what do you like to do this, and this? Not really. Oh, okay. Well, what about this, and this? No.
Not a fan.
It seems you have to revisit our episode on customer conversations there, PlainGuy.
Yeah.
I've had great conversations, but for the most part, when it is busy, it is in, out, keys. Thank you. Have a great day. The long runs, that's a whole other story. Yes, we end up with some very long chats. But yes, when it comes to the regular day-to-day in-town calls, knocking stuff off the boost, listen, I don't need to hear how you had to get your car boosted 9 months ago. And do you think it's related? And your whole life story on the garage that you went to. I don't need to hear all of that stuff. I need to go, okay, voltage is low, booster pack is on, it starts, voltage is fine. Have a great day. I've got more to go take care of. So, yes, I'm a hypocrite when it comes to customer service. But enough of that board. Yeah, for sure. The towing industry is full of hypocrites. We have a driver right now currently going through for his I don't know what you guys call it, class 1 license. Yeah. And he was messaging me and he goes, yeah, So, you're only allowed to do this many hours. And he's just kind of using me as a sounding board to help him memorize the numbers that he's being taught on the hours you can run in a day. And it is different in Canada and the US. Then he goes, yeah, my instructor was a tow operator for 12 years. And I'm like, oh, so you're telling me he was a hypocrite? Because there's no way that he ran the hours that if he was an operator for 12 years that he is teaching you are allowed to run. So your trainer, sir, is a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And I stand by that.
Yeah.
So enough of the boring tow talk. I mean, we are a towing podcast and all, but Sarah, how have you been?
Me, I'm good. A big storm came through here this morning and washed out half my driveway, but other than that, I'm good.
Oh, no.
Did you need to call a tow to get you out?
No, I just waited for the water to go down.
Oh,
It would be a much better story if I had to get a tow truck.
Which half was it? The left half or the right half of the driveway?
If you're going out, it was the right half.
That is fair. I figure you always stump us up with some questions. It's time that I tried to hopefully catch you with one, but you were way too quick for that. So yeah, no storms. This has been a weird summer for weather. I don't know in your area overall. I know in our area we've had some wicked storms this year. The wicked heat spells. We finally got a break from it a little bit. It's been a little cooler. Like in the morning, I went out there today and I'm almost like, whew, where's my hoodie? Like I might put a hoodie on for the morning because I mean it's still 20 degrees. I don't know what the math and conversion is, and I'm not going to do it. It's still warm, right? If this was in the spring when you're not climatized, you walk outside and go, holy, I need shorts today. Now you walk outside after the heat waves we've been in, and you're like, ooh, it's a little chilly outside. What is wrong with me? Turn
Sounds
the air
like Canada to
conditioning
me.
Yeah, pretty much sums up Canadian weather. If it's not igloo weather, it's scorching hot weather, and we've been getting
it's either winter or construction season. Get it together.
That with all the major cities that we drive through, that is pretty fair. I always tell people that when you get into Quebec, there's 2 seasons in Quebec. It's winter and construction. And construction overlaps into winter sometimes. Most times.
Yeah.
So Sarah, speaking of your southern storms and your southern traditions and all those, your honorary southernness, we're going to call it. Your honorary southernness. It almost sounds like royalty now that I think about it.
It does.
You could be a Disney princess.
You're going to make me pull out all my yells.
Yeah, please start using yells. If you don't, I will. And it's going to sound awkward with a Canadian accent.
Come on, y'all.
But no, I wanted to get into, so I've seen a lot. Anyone looking at me, if you're watching on the YouTube side, which is a great time to mention, if you're watching on the YouTube side, to make sure to hit that like, subscribe, follow. I think there's a subscribe. G's pointing to it. Yeah. If you are listening over on the audio side, you can always check us out at www.towinglife.ca. You can email us directly at thetowinglife@gmail.com or find us on Facebook at the Towing Life Podcast. YouTube, if you do not like the video, make sure to hit the thumbs down twice. It's very important. It keeps the algorithm in check and it gets us booted down farther. If you don't like us, you'll never see us again. But one thing about me is that I like food. Anyone watching on the YouTube side will know that I like food. It's very apparent in my sheer size. Yeah, we're not exactly tow operators. We might have to cut that one out. Let me try that again. We aren't exactly the smallest tow truck operators you will find. So social media and everything listens to you. We know this. This has been proven on your phone. Mm-hmm. And I have been flooded with Southern barbecue, Southern cooking, different little things. And I am a big snack guy on the road. If I am on a long road trip, there is nothing better to me than a pack of sunflower seeds. I love sunflower seeds. They're easy. I go to Tim Hortons. I get my second cup. I pull out the empty cup, and that's what I use to spit my sunflower seeds into. It's great. I have been seeing these boiled peanuts. Now, off the top of my head, boiled peanuts sounds odd.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. They boil them with the sauce and the Cajun, the water, and they do all this stuff.
You got the video ads, did you?
Oh, yeah. Not ads. Literal, like, some dude that I probably ended up following because I seen enough of his videos on cooking these. Yeah, it's like a whole 5-minute video of how they make these boiled peanuts. Is that as big of a thing, or is Facebook just flooding me with stuff because of my size? I feel like I'm being fat shamed by Facebook into watching these ads.
If
So
you were
as
being fat shamed, they're not going to shame you with peanuts.
yes, there's a lot of barbecue. There's a lot of barbecue. I've seen so many briskets in the last week.
Oh.
It is ridiculous.
Ooh.
But as an honorary Southerner, is that common? Like, are boiled peanuts? Like, can you find them? Are they pretty easy to come by? Like, do you know Bob?
They're like a fast food.
Peanuts?
They're not a fast food. They're like a gas station food.
Boiled peanuts are a gas station thing?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can get them. I'm sure they have really fine dining for the South. Boiled peanuts out there, and a lot of barbecue places will have them. But I've seen them in gas stations, and that's what surprised me the most. I was like, oh yeah, just dip your ladle in and pull out a spoonful of boiled peanuts.
Oh, you literally, they boil them there, and you're they're not prepackaged.
No,
you pick them right off the pot. Oh damn. Oh, okay. That is not at all what I was thinking. At first I thought like prepackaged, which I feel like prepackaged cooled down boiled peanuts sounds like, to me it sounds like it is something you'd want them to be warm.
Yeah.
But like, are they squishy? Are they soft? Are they still crunchy?
They're squishies. So I think I've only eaten them once, and I was taken off guard when I ate them because I just didn't know what to do about them. I was like, do you eat the shell? Because they boil them in the shell. And
the shell, yeah.
And the shell's all soft. And they're like, no, you de-shell them. So you pull off this like really soft, sticky shell. I'm not selling them, I know. And then I guess, if I'm being really kind to them, I think I was too hard. They taste like little dollops of peanut butter.
Huh.
Okay, because they would be warm, so they would be not melted, because at that point they're still an actual nut. But I mean, the fact that with all the nut allergies in the world that they can openly be boiling at a gas station is impressive.
You're telling me I could walk into a gas station in the South, go in, buy a jug of milk, scoop out some boiled peanuts and throw them in a little container, and go and buy a 12-pack of beer, and then walk across the street and buy a firearm?
Yes, sir.
Depending on what state in the South, that sounds appropriate. That sounds appropriate. I just like I'm sure there's fine dining peanut place. So put on your
fine dining down here is like barbecue.
Yeah, we're going to the fancy boiled peanut place tonight.
Get your wig from 1812 on. We're gonna get peanuts.
The biggest food difference between Canada and down here, I think, is that, especially because I'm from the West Coast, so I'm from Vancouver, where we're very in tune with our culinary tastes. And so you'll get like,
that's a way to say they fancy.
Yeah,
they fancy folk out there.
They're more American than Canadians out there.
Yeah, there are California for those that are wondering. Yes,
we're the California of Canada.
Yes,
and so we'll have sushi and ramen and yakiniku, and we really love our Asian foods. And then we'll have like, the special burgers that aren't made of any meat, and we fancy them up with chutney and all sorts of.
See, when you say ramen, I just think of that hard brick that you pour hot water on.
Oh no, we have fine dining ramen in Vancouver. Like,
I thought you just got the pack for like 67 cents.
No.
Ramen.
I'm talking like $15-20 a bowl of ramen.
Whoa.
The noodles are only 50 cents. Like, I don't know what else you're throwing in it to offset that. Again, welcome to California.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our California. Yeah. Here's this $5 thing that we're going to sell to you 25 and call it exquisite, and you're going to want it because all your friends got it.
But then you come here to the South, and it's like, you know what we do really well? Meat. We do meat really well, and we do casseroles really well, and we do barbecue really well, and all the food is really simple down here. Oh, and fried chicken. But my goodness, like, guys, I understand why Americans have the reputation they have. The food is delicious.
That is fair. That I feel like I'd fit in. I feel like you guys might as well just come get me, bring me down there. I will gladly assimilate into your culture. I'm in. You show me where to throw the slab of meat. I'll cook it up. We're good. We're good.
That's
We'll get
the one nice thing about being a tow truck driver. We can go pretty well anywhere, and they're hiring.
Yeah.
that is true. That is absolutely true. That brings us to one of our points, like we want to talk
That
about
was
today.
a perfect segue.
I know you nailed it, and then you interrupted instead of waiting for it to be perfect. So close, ladies and gentlemen. We try week in and week out. We try. We are slowly getting there, and we are definitely. G is making improvements. I'm impressed.
It's the running joke. If you've been here, you know I'm horrible at making segues, so I got to continue that tradition into our new year of making podcasts.
Or people might think we know what we're doing.
Exactly.
Don't you dare, listeners, ever start to think we know what we're doing. We are the farthest thing from it, but we will continue to try week in and week out. But yes, as a tow operator, we can go work anywhere. Why can we go work anywhere? Because everybody is hiring right now.
Yeah.
It is insane. Everywhere is hiring. And I don't just mean in the towing industry. I mean in all industries for the most part. But the towing industry is being hit excessively hard, I find. And I'm biased, right? Being in the industry, we're biased to this. But it feels like we are being hit excessively hard by the work shortage. Why is that? Why is it that, the towing industry of all places is having a hard time hiring people? Well, let's start off with, and I know, Sarah, we've got some different points on this, but let's go start off with my view on it is that it is not the most desirable industry that is out there.
No.
You can go, I've always said, if you were in towing for the money, hell, you can go make more money somewhere else.
Yep.
And have a lot less headaches and a lot less bullshit at times.
If you actually break down some of the light duty operators out there, if you work the same amount of hours at like a Tim Hortons or a minimum wage job, you can almost make the same amount of money for the amount of hours that you work.
Yeah, no, it's true. You can make really good money if you hustle, but you can also make really bad money even if you hustle. And so, yes, for the financial side of it, towing, there needs to be, some level and some balance that goes into it. But it's not like that. It's the hours, right? I was interviewing with a gentleman who's, seemed like a great candidate and goes, I don't mind getting up at 4:00 in the morning or 2:30 in the morning and going on about my 14-hour day on the road. I don't know if I like the idea of getting up at 2:30 in the morning and going out for a call and coming back to sleep for an hour, or, a couple hours, whatever, just doing that 1 hour and back to bed. And I go, damn, I don't blame you. I don't like it either.
Yeah, but that's the job.
That's what we keep saying. It's the job, right? Especially in these rural areas. Like the city runs a little bit different because you can really run the shifts with just the sheer volume and all that. I'm talking more, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are from those rural areas that they know what I'm talking about with the on-calls at night.
Yeah.
Right? We run a system where we have a driver on call at night because of police contract requirements and whatnot. So that driver is on call, and if he gets a call at 2:00 in the morning, he goes out at 2:00 in the morning. If he gets back at 3:00 in the morning, that's when he gets back, and we try and adjust his start time the next day to get him adequate sleep. But no matter what, you have still lost that, gotten that broken up sleep. That is a tough habit and a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. And in a world where everybody is hiring, everybody's hiring, how do you sell towing? Well, how do we become the one that you want to pick, right? How do we go to the top of the list?
Everything you just said screams it's not a very desirable job. So you already right off the bat, like, it's not a glamorous job for the most part, but you can get that satisfaction out of helping people if you can take satisfaction and pride into being able to help people in some of their worst days, then the towing industry might be a good fit for you. But unfortunately, I'm dealing with this right now with a new guy that I'm training. He's doing landscaping right now, which is great. He even had an opportunity to buy that company, but it just wasn't for him. So now he's switching, but he can't put all his eggs in one basket because he wants to see if it's actually going to be a good fit for him. And getting into the towing industry is a pretty big commitment because you've already got if you have a stable job and you want to try the towing industry, well, we need pretty much 100% right from the get-go. And it's very hard. Like, I'm training him half days sometimes. Like, if he can get off early from work, training him a half day. I was like, your training might take almost a month before we're confident letting you go in a truck by yourself just because you're not here enough. And he gets that. But a lot of companies can't be that flexible for training people or it could just be that we're in this position where we need drivers and we are more willing to compromise now than ever before.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of it, is that you have to compromise. Because again, the hiring pools, we've spoken with insurance and everything else, the difficulty it comes to hiring new operators. But it's not even getting the hiring, it's getting the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get the interviews and you talk to these guys, and I think I've made it clear I'm no different in my business life than I am here. I don't feed you guard, like, you know what I mean? I won't make you false promises and make it sound like unicorns and rainbows.
Yep.
I tell people in interviews right there, there's going to be days that you absolutely hate this job.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna come, because I want you ready for when you come into it, knowing what it's going to be about. Now, again, is that the wrong approach whenever you're trying to recruit people? Maybe. But I feel that it's a better approach than feeding them some bull about how it's, oh, don't worry, you won't go out very often at night. Oh, don't worry, you'll get regular nights of sleep all the time.
Yeah.
And then them finding out 3 months in that they go, wait a second,
I haven't slept yet.
Yeah, that's not what the towing industry is about.
Yep.
What do you mean you're 22? Why do you look like you're 40? So yeah, no, you don't want to give them that, that false narrative. You really want to be clear with them on what the job is. But in a world where they can go work anywhere right now because of the shortage, right? Unemployment is an all-time low everywhere. Everyone keeps using this line. Nobody wants to work anymore. No, everybody's working. That's why the unemployment thing works. Right? It is based on, there's, factors that go into on how many people are actively looking for a job and all that also applies. But don't forget, the biggest generation that we have ever seen is all half into retirement, and the other half are really considering it right now.
But it's not even so much that, like, for schooling, they're pushing everyone for secondary education, higher education, go to college, go to university. And for most people, if they're going and getting a college or university degree, they're not going to want to come into a towing industry where you're making 40 to 60 to 100 on the very top end a year. Like, it's just, we don't appeal to those type of people who have gone and bettered themselves with further education. Now, there is the odd guy who goes out and gets an education, comes back to the towing industry for whatever reason. Kudos to you if you're one of them. But for the general public, it's people who have a high school diploma and they knew a guy in the towing industry and they like the freedom that the towing industry offered and the ability to do different things every day. And it's not the same thing day in and day out. Like, there is a lot of good in this industry. And if your personality fits it, perfect. You'll be in it for life and you will never be able to get out of it, no matter how hard you try.
I think that really ties into, people just don't know about the industry. It's not an industry I really understood. I actually joke that I never called a tow truck in my life until the day before I started at Tow Canada magazine. It was the very first time I ever had to call a tow truck. And getting involved in the industry, I realized how much there was to it. But I hate to take a stab at the schools, but like where the whole system is kind of failing is that kids are getting shoehorned into going and getting a higher education, myself included. I do have a bachelor's degree, and I came out of it at the peak of my career. I was making $50,000 a year. Well, it cost me $40,000 to get that degree. And here I am making $50,000 a year 10 years later. So there's like this big lie that my generation was told was go get a university degree. You'll make so much money. I kind of want to tell kids these days, like, go do something hands-on, especially the automotive industry. I mean, I know that there's a lot of trades out there, but the automotive industry, towing, it's something that you learn on the job. And that to me is the major appeal to towing, is it's applied knowledge that you can use right away.
Well, it's true. And you would have more experience than others. I feel like going through and doing these, like I said, these college degrees and everything else, university degrees, and the types of jobs that they lead to. Towing doesn't just teach you, on the job skills. It also teaches you real world skills, where I feel like you would not necessarily learn in a 4-year degree. You know what I mean? You're going to learn, yes, based on what it is, you're going to learn all the book smarts and everything like that. But does it really prepare you for the real world the way that a 2 a.m. rollover might? You know what I mean? And interacting with people and growing relationships and everything through, I don't know. Again, I'm I have no problem admitting it. I'm a high school dropout. Never completed high school, right? To me, it was just a piece of paper. And there was many times where I looked at it as more of a challenge than anything else. I'm going to show you what I can do without it. Now, some people, and hopefully none of the people actually listening to the show who are involved in the towing industry would look down on that. But a lot of people in the world would and go, oh, you really proved us wrong what you could do. You became a tow truck operator. Yeah. But it's true. I think there's a lot of underestimated value in this job and in this industry that maybe as business as a whole we're not tapping into. Like we're just as guilty. Like, yes, I know we talked about it last week where find a good, happy, feel good story about the towing industry. Go Google tow truck stories and see what you can come up with. Right, they are out there, but we are our own worst enemy in developing this idea that we have a stereotype in the industry. Well, let's break it. Why do we keep talking about the stereotype? If we keep talking about it, we just keep perpetuating it. Right? Let's start getting involved in kids at high schools, in shop classes. Right? How many times, you've done these tows? I know you. I'm guessing you have, where you bring a car to a
high school
shop. Yep. How amazed are the kids with the tow truck normally? And we're talking high school kids. We're not talking,
they all come running out of the shop and look at the tow truck and shoot the shit with you when you're dropping it, and it's just a great time.
So clearly there's an interest, or at least some sort of fascination from an early point. What are towing companies doing to take advantage of that? What is the industry doing to get kids involved? Other than a yearly tow show that we put next to Disneyland or amusement parks so that they'll bring the kids by, what are we actively doing in the industry to help increase our chances? It is hard for us to sit here and complain that, the insurance is messing with us, and this is happening, and this is all doing. Why aren't we doing our own recruiting? No. Why aren't we getting into, making kids aware at an earlier age, pushing that, going through, maybe a lot of it, the towing industry is going towards, in our province, at least towards a certification, or I think they want to look at doing it, they should make it an apprenticeship. That's doing the opposite.
Yeah.
That's putting it back into the schooling system and alienating a good portion of your workforce, because now I need to make sure I have an apprenticeship, which means I need to have this complete, I need to do this schoolwork. Why don't we just start approaching people? I'm not looking, just because you don't have a high school diploma, or you don't, have any formal training or formal education post-secondary, does not mean you're an idiot. It just means you're not good at school, or you don't care about schooling.
It's going to get even worse. My stepmother works in one of the school boards here in Ontario, and the school board that she's with in the adjacent one, it's actually a pretty big city one, are saying we're not teaching applied classes anymore. So it's all taught at the academic level. So the higher of the two levels, to go on to university instead of college. They're streamlining it to make it easier on the faculty and everything, and I get that. But the problem is the amount of kids that are going to get left behind and not be able to grasp that, and then drop out of college or drop out of high school because they just can't get it, and they feel like they're not actually making their time useful in there. Because I felt like that. The only reason why I graduated high school is because my stepmother was there and she beat my ass, go to class and do your work, right? And I graduated, I think, with 38 credits, and you only needed 32. I failed a class and took both my spares. But since I did an EOP program, which meant I could go to work for 5 days out of the week, because I didn't do the college portion of that, and I worked so many hours, I got so many extra credits, that's the only reason why I passed or graduated high school. And then I went off into college to become a heavy equipment operator, spent 12 grand on that, and then got into towing right afterwards. So I pissed away that 12 grand. And I see a lot of kids running into that issue. The only problem is we've got the TV shows. Oh, that's cool. But there's nothing that's you and me talking to the kids. I see a couple of posts on Facebook from time to time of guys taking trucks to schools and doing presentations at schools and lifting up the little toy cars and stuff like that, and getting them to work the controls and really understanding that these guys are out there and it's a profession. You can make money at it. And maybe if we all start doing a little bit more of that in high schools and primary schools, maybe we'll get more people actually knocking on our doors for a job. I'm not saying anytime soon, but in the next 10 years, 15 years, we might see an uptick.
Yeah. I think
it's
it's
a
all
shift in
grassroots
mentality.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you start making these changes now and just being conscientious about, like, let's look at who is going to be the next towers. It's not the guys who are out there in the industry already. It's the 15, 16, 17-year-olds that are struggling in school right now that have no idea that there's an option out there for them because they don't get book smarts. And we overvalue book smarts today, and we undervalue common sense. We undervalue what they can do with their hands. And towing is such a great job for problem solving. And I mean, I'm an outsider and I'm romanticizing it here. And I'll be the first to admit that. But you guys really are highway heroes. Like, I know that we say that a lot and we throw it around this cliche. But if it isn't for towers, people aren't getting where they want to go. Like, people's day gets better because you guys show up.
Well, first it's got to get worse, but we make it better. They're having a bad day.
But that had nothing
we got
to do
come
with
around.
you.
It is true. It is true, though. Yeah, their day has to get bad before we can make it better. But no, you're right. Is we need to start looking at least showing them the option of that, and it's grassroots, right? That's what it comes back to. It really comes down to laying the foundation and building off it. You're right. It's not going to change overnight. It doesn't mean you're going to go to a high school tomorrow and have a talk with some kids that, you know, and I'm sure guidance counselors and everything would be willing to at least have this conversation with these companies to go, hey, you know, have you ever thought of, you know, I know you guys have the automotive project. What about the towing and recovery side of things, right? And I'm not talking, you know, repo man and whatever. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those jobs, but even if you get into the towing and recovery, you glorify it a little bit, like you're speaking. Hey, you know, there's work for these kids. We don't want them to feel like if they get out of high school and they don't know what they're doing, they're you know, useless to society. I'm not saying we can hire them right out of towing or right out of high school, but we can start to get them on the right path. You know, talk about licenses. You know, there's a shortage of truckers as well, too. What is the trucking industry doing to start to attract new talent and younger talent? You know, get on board with that, too, because we all offer a lot of the same opportunities. A lot of the same skills are used. There's a lot that goes into it. So, yeah, if we want to increase our hiring pool in the future, and like I said, we're losing a big generation of, you know, we're losing the baby boomers, right? The baby boomers are on the, you know, have already started the retirement trend. It's only going to continue. And even in the towing industry, these are veterans that have been at it for a long time that carry so much knowledge, so much, you know, experience with them. And we need to replace that. And we need to replace that with young, fresh blood. If, you know, our generation can't fill that gap. And to do that, insurance is going to have to play ball. There's a lot that's going to have to go into that. It isn't as simple, you know. I hate to bring it here and just say, yeah, so this thing, we fix this and our problems are solved and we'll never have to go looking for employees again because we'll have them knocking on our doors. But at the same time,
a step that can be made is, I know when I was in high school, I was always like, especially in math class, what am I ever going to need this for? What is the actual real world use for this? And most of the teachers couldn't give you a real world use. Well, in the towing industry, I deal with angles, fractions, and weights, working load limits. I got to know my 3-to-1, my 2-to-1s. Like, there's a lot more math that once you actually get into the industry, you don't really think about it all that often, but you're doing calculations in your head. You're trying to figure out what that rolling resistance is going to be to get that truck out of the mud. Is my line going to be good enough? And if we can show kids that, hey, there is actual use for your classes that you're taking in high school in this industry, and if you do okay in your class, that'll better you in this industry and in other industries and real world scenarios for average day jobs, that might help them do better in school. And then also remember that, hey, that tow truck guy's got to think about all this stuff, and they might steer towards a career in this industry.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But then we still got to justify why we're learning about Christopher Columbus discovering America. And I don't know if we
Where
can
do you
sell that one.
tow cars on America, and how did we get to America?
Because
No,
of Christopher Columbus,
I'm
who
pulling
didn't.
strings there.
Yeah. You're 100% right, G. It is show them that, because if, hey, you like trucks? Yeah. You like that TV show? Yeah. Okay. You know how much math they do on that TV show? You're just talking light duty numbers.
Oh yeah.
You get into these heavy recoveries.
You're
Your
dealing with
math-
80,000 pounds in the air. You can't make a mistake.
Exactly. So the math, the angles, everything that goes simply gets bigger and more numbers and everything else. And it's true, you might be able to find a way to get the interest into these kids. Give these kids somewhere to go to, because, and I truly believe that by going to the grassroots, you are really going to help elevate the image of the industry when we actually start preparing people to come into this industry, instead of simply being a fallback plan. Hey, I wonder, maybe I'll go apply at the tow truck, and then finding guys that actually turn out to be great operators. Like we found many great operators, but you might help bring up the quality of the, you know what I mean? Like the whole overall quality of the industry when you are purposely preparing people and taking the steps ahead. I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we talk about quality, there is one thing that is synonymous, I guess the word up, with quality, and that is our friends over at BA Products. From innovative products such as the container link, tanker tube, frame hook, patented 8-point tie down, and now the air bar. If you haven't seen the air bar, they just keep changing the game, and they just keep bringing out new inventions and really stepping up the industry as a whole, exactly like we're trying to do by bringing this information towards the younger kids. They are trying to build the towing industry into something amazing that we all know it can be. BA Products is always developing products to better assist towers today and for tomorrow. Reach out to one of our BA distributors today to see how we can help elevate your towing and recovery procedures. Like I said, BA Products, you want to talk quality, you want to talk, we want the best of the best. BA is the best of the best with all their testing. Let's start getting kids jobs at the BA factory. I mean, even that would be a start. Fresh out of high school, you can get into the BA factory. You can learn all the hooks that when you turn, you know what I mean? You get a couple years there, you come out, you can already tell me what hooks are rated for, what winch lines are rated for, working load limits, the ratios that are built in. They will be ready to be put into a tow truck. So BA Products, please come help us get the next generation of towers ready for the road. You can visit them at BA Prod, that's BAPROD.com for more information. They do not endorse my ad idea to hire teen kids out of high school yet, but maybe they will after listening.
Yeah, get them set up with like an EOP program or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Think about that. That is, I'm really just pulling stuff off my hip here, but literally, they could learn all this working low. I have operators that I still have to remind what working low limits are on things. Yeah. You go spend 6 months over there. You spend time with Fritz. Fritz will teach you what not to do and what the working load limits are on everything over there. So
he can show you what will happen if you play stupid games.
Yes, in a safe, controlled environment instead of on the side of a highway.
Yeah. Like I was showing my rookie, he was like, "Well, what's this actually rated for?" I was like, "Perfect question." And I showed him the plaque on the side of the boom. I was like, "The boom is rated for 20,000 pounds, fully retracted and extended. It's rated for 5. But I've got an 8,000 pound winch on that truck, and the line's only good for 3,500 pounds. So you tell me, does that kind of seem stupid for the manufacturer to put a lower rated cable on this truck than what the winch can actually do?" He's like, "Yes." I was like, and that's how a snatch block comes into play.
Well, I know. I was even rated for your boom. We were looking at that with an operator today, and he goes, "My boom's rated for this retracted." Cool. Good luck keeping your front tires on the ground.
Yeah.
You can put whatever rating you want on that damn thing, and it'll do it. The wrecker will do it. The chassis won't. But
you put your wheel lift down, and you'll just pull like a mother.
The fatal flaw of integrated booms. Yeah. But yeah, no, we definitely need to take steps towards the future, and hopefully maybe we can be the change we want to see in the world. maybe this will give somebody an idea to go, you know what? I'm going to go talk to the shop teacher at high school. I'm going to see what we can set up with these kids. I'm going to go talk to a guidance counselor because I think we will make changes.
We can complain about it all we want, but if we don't make a single step to better it, there's no point in complaining.
Coming to me with a problem and no solution is just called bitching.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's not doing any good. It's just complaining. You're right.
Yeah.
You want to know one of the freedoms of the towing industry?
What's that?
Is this guy. This is a post that I found on social media and I absolutely had to share it. Now I do have some questions on the if this photo is valid or if it's wrong. But it is my tow truck driver has a cat named Dixie with a matching safety vest. And
tow truck Wags has a cat that rides around with him.
That is fair. Does tow truck Wags have a vest like this one? It's got a match. Oh, that is fair.
Yep.
Now, my question I have is that actually doesn't look like a tow truck. Look at the steering wheel. I cannot make out the make of this truck. It almost looks like a Nissan.
Well, if you look in through the window, that looks like a 1/4-ton truck, and he's sitting lower than that.
Yeah, so I have questions if this is actually a tow truck operator or maybe a service vehicle, and they're giving them a ride or something like that.
It could be like a bicyclist.
It could be what?
A cyclist who broke down, and the light service guy is taking the cycle.
Hey, we tow bicycles. Roadsides tow bicycles.
Is roadsides.
Yes, it is. In Ontario, it is. I had a gentleman walk his bike 5 miles to the Canadian border and cross so that he could use his roadside bicycle coverage because it only applied in Ontario. I don't know about Quebec, but it did apply in Ontario. And then I towed him about 130 kilometers away back to his house.
That would be a long bike ride.
Yeah, he was like a touring guy. Like he had been gone for 2 weeks on his bicycle with nothing but like they do a couple like 100 miles a day or something. And yeah, got towed, no charge. I put his bicycle in the back of my 5500 Ram in the back seat, which I then loaded onto my 20 TB Western Star flatbed and towed it all up because the truck had to go up there at the same time to the dealership.
Fuel economy.
I killed
even the environment one tow at a time.
I killed every savings that gentleman had made on the environment in an hour tow. But yeah, no, it is absolutely covered. So it could be that. G could be right. The fact that he's got his cat riding with him is awesome. The fact that he's got full reflective on is awesome. My God, I hope you don't get a passenger with cat allergies. But it is true. It talks about the freedom of our industry. Is the, you know what I mean? Hey, we have a new guy right now. That is one of the things he loves about the job is the freedom, right? It's you don't have a boss breathing down your neck. You get your calls done. You go out, you do your best. If you have a question, you call, you ask for help. Other than that, you're being left to your own destruction as long as you're constant.
I have a work shirt that says, I am currently unsupervised. I know it freaks me out too, but the possibilities are endless.
Which is a lot of what we provide them the training, we send them out, and we reinforce the fact that if you need anything or if you have any questions to call, hey, with the technology we have between phone calls, FaceTime, and just physically showing up, you can help operators with a lot of things without actually being there, right? You can get them through the basic stuff without being there. So yeah, you get that freedom of, hey, I got this run going a couple hours away. Cool. If you come from somebody who's worked in it, like our one newer gentleman who worked in an automotive shop and came in, day out to the same shop and spent all day at the shop, and suddenly you tell him you don't have to go and just spend the whole day in the shop. You get to be free. Be free, little one.
Yeah.
Wander, explore, and get calls and make money at the same time.
Yeah.
We're normally pretty stoked about that.
So, Sarah, do you have a moral dilemma for us today?
I do. I have a two-parter moral dilemma because I came up with two different situations that I really want to test you guys on.
Okay.
He went from the greatest segue in the world to the driest one. Way to go, G.
Thanks.
All right. So it's late at night. This is your last call of the day. You're pulling out of someone's driveway and you turn around and someone, maybe they're parked illegally, you didn't see the car, but you happen to nick an old 1983 Toyota Corolla on your way out. It's not a huge dent. It's just a little dent. It goes along with the 15 other dents. What do you do?
I save 15% on my insurance by switching to reverse and driving away. Screw Geico. I can save more money by leaving this 83 Corolla alone.
That was my first car, by the way. I'm picturing my little ugly bronze 1983 Toyota Corolla.
With dents all over it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
Ooh.
My dad got it at a police auction for $300.
Someone's been stabbed in the back seat.
Yeah, that's my first thing. Someone died in the back seat of it. That is oof. Ooh, gee, you know what? I'm gonna let G go first because I don't really know what I do right now.
It's late at night. Is it dark outside?
It's dark.
Is there anyone around?
There's no one around.
We live in an age of cameras and everything, G.
Yeah.
That 83 Corolla probably has a dash cam because it's been broken into 75 times.
And where I left a mark, there's a mark next to it that looks the same.
Yep.
I'm taking off. Prove it was me. Is there any evidence on my truck to that car that I did it at that time?
No.
No, because
Exactly.
your truck's
You hit
full
it
of
with your-
dents from all the other shit you hit.
Yeah, just one shit box running into another shit box.
Yeah, I'm driving away.
Okay.
I'm
Same
driving.
situation.
Okay.
2022 BMW.
I'm still
Driving
driving.
away even faster.
Yeah, I'm just driving away faster because the alarm's going off. I mean, if you're gonna, I'm gonna leave a note. I seen this guy hit your car. Just giving you a heads up.
Yeah. A
He was
handwritten
driving
note.
whatever company TowManG works for, company truck. That's what I seen him. He hit it. Here you go.
Write it on a sticky note while it's raining and leave it on his windshield wiper. So it's at least I tried, but he won't be able to read it come morning.
You ever see those notes where people left on somebody's wiper where it's like, I'm just writing this note because somebody is watching. I'm not giving you my information, and they leave it on the wiper.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna take off, you're gonna take off. It is a tough one though. That's I would hope, as a professional, I would take responsibility.
Mhm.
And it is true. I feel like a 2022 BMW would probably push me to take more responsibility.
Yeah.
Which isn't right. I mean, you treat every car the same,
Mhm.
but yeah, if that was my car, I'd want the guy to come clean about it.
I mean, I haven't had that exact situation, but I've backed into driveways, hooked up cars, and as I'm pulling out, I forget that it's blue box day where I'm picking up, and I run over a blue box. Right? It's happened.
I'm gone.
Well, I've gotten out, and if the blue box is still intact, I've put everything back in the blue box and then repositioned it, pulled out, and then put it back where it was before. But that's a blue box, and no one was watching.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do to a car where it might cost me $5,000 to fix it.
Yeah. The professional me says that I would stop and leave a note.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know until you're put in that situation. I hope to never be put in that situation. I've never have been put in that situation. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yep. I don't know what I would do. Oh, the 83 Corolla or whatever it is. Yeah.
Hey, if it's my 83 Corolla, I forgive you.
Yeah, like I'm not even thinking about it. Unless I took like a body panel off of it, like I got the bumper half ripped off. How would I even know I hit it if we're talking that small of a bump? The BMW, because as you're watching, you're going and you hit it. The 83 Corolla, I would not. I'd just be wheeling out and did that thing move? No, I don't think so. That was probably something else. I didn't. Plausible deniability, I think.
Well,
they
if the
claim
BMW was parked illegally, like you said, I would take pictures of that just in case.
Oh wait, it was illegally parked?
Yeah, I did say that it was like
Ooh.
this. It shouldn't have been there.
Ooh, I know what I'm doing. I'm saying somebody else hit it. I'm towing it for the insurance rate.
Nice.
I'm hitting it real good. You gotta make sure it's not drivable. And then I'm
put a
saying
little scrape in it, and you just backed right into it again, just to finish off the job.
And then I'm writing, I seen somebody hit your car. It was a blue this, and I'm leaving the note. and then I'm getting them to call me for the tail. That's my plan, and I am sticking to it. Wow, I lost all my moral points today that I've accrued for the year.
We both have. Don't worry.
No, TowManG, I'm giving you a couple of points for your blue box story. I cannot believe that nobody was watching, and you put the blue box back where it belonged with all the items in it. So you get.
That's actually, I could see. Yeah, that's fair. I could see picking up the stuff and leaving the blue box there, but the fact that you pulled out and then put it back where it was, that's pretty charming of you, sir.
Well, I mean, if that happened to my driveway, if it's not where it is, it ends up in the ditch. And I'd hate to see someone like my mother having to try to fish that bag out of the ditch. So
he's a nicer person than
very thoughtful.
Very, very thoughtful.
And that means we can end this podcast on a positive note.
For once. Take us out, Sarah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. Our listeners won't know this, but it's very late at night, and everybody's done a really great job of keeping the energy level up. Wherever you are right now when you're hearing this, thank you all for listening, and we hope that you listen in next week. Night, PlainGuy. Night, TowManG.
Take care. Nice, subtle to the night thing. I like that because yeah, we do. It's people never. I really want to know what people think. Like what we, you know what I mean? Like what they think our schedule for this shit is, because God, if they only knew the unorganized chaos that it is.
It's 11 p.m. right now on a Wednesday.
Sarah, you're still on Eastern time though, at least, right?
Yeah. So it's 11 for me too.
I mean, actually, it would have been better if you were Western time. Now I think of that. I think that was a good episode. I think that was a great episode.
It was very positive. I loved it. If you want to put something in the title about what do they call that?